Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Rich, and welcome to the first official episode of While We Walk. And in this podcast, what we're going to talk about is trading, self-improvement, things that are personally going on in my life. So expect to hear those topics the vast majority of the time. But I intend to just talking about whatever currently is on my mind here while I walk. Now, I intend on doing this podcast every time I walk. The time limit is going to be around 30 minutes, give or take. So expect that's usually going to be the length of my podcast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a timer on my Fitbit and then stop around the time I feel the alarm ringing on my wrist there. Now, currently I'm here in New York, in Queens, walking around what's called Casino Park in Queens. And it's raining right now. It's a little drizzly. Now, in my unofficial podcast, when I was testing out this initial run here, I mentioned that I wasn't going to do this every day. I would only do this on days that I would walk around this park. And so there's a chance where you may see some episodes that don't appear. It just means that I haven't been walking at that specific time. Now, I have two YouTube accounts. I'm going to post this on my trading account as well as my other account, which will become nameless for now. But yeah. So to keep you updated with what I did, I ended up trading today, ended up doing one trade, got a profit, happy with that result, and did a couple of habits that I've been tracking. Now, for those that are not familiar, I track my habits in an app called Habitica. So basically what you do is you write down the habits that you want to implement, and then you kind of like check mark it type of thing. It's like more of a gamification of your habits. And I found that app to be extremely, I like it. It's gamifying your daily habits, and I like that concept. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to these walks and talks. And what else was I going to say? So the topic of discussion, I guess, is what I'm going to talk about is, doing things that you don't want to do. Now, initially before I walked, I didn't like it. I didn't like walking. I felt that it was a time-consuming thing. But once I got into the habit of walking, it became almost like a habit where you want to continue on doing that specific activity. And if you don't do it, it feels like you're missing out type of thing. And so, yeah. Now, in terms of the trading here, I had a childhood friend that came here at the beginning of the month, and he kind of motivated me to, do what, like almost like follow your dreams type of thing, where the past 4 years have been like a blur. It just flew by like in a second. Now, currently, I'm not employed at that firm, but I used to work at that firm for 4 years before they let me go. And initially I was angry because I felt it was unwarranted. But I'm going to now take this opportunity to kind of rephrase my thoughts of that certain situation happening and frame it as an opportunity to kind of live out my dreams. I always wanted to be known in some fashion, just be recognized in some way, kind of tell my story. That's part of the reason why I decided to start a YouTube channel, because I wanted to kind of be known by somebody, And yeah, so that's why I did that. And as I started uploading YouTube videos to a couple of channels, I've kind of gotten the habit on how to upload. Now I'm going to use more reps in order to edit videos, make the videos more compelling. And as I get more and more reps in, or more podcasts that I upload, I may start, branching out to different platforms. But for now, it's gonna be in YouTube, and that is that. But the potential for trading, I always knew is there. The potential for, becoming a profitable trader on a monthly basis. And it's going to allow me to live the dreams that I want to live. If I were to just get a regular job, that's fine too. However, I'm at a stage in my life where it's almost as if it's a waste of time. Now, obviously, if you have bills to pay and you have no other option, then you're kind of forced to get what you get to get an income. Right now, I'm personally taking a risk on myself because I know the potential is there, and if everything works out the way I expect it to, or kind of like I hope to, then my life is going to improve in such a dramatic way. So for those that don't know, the type of trading style that I do is I do what's called I do day trading. And so what that is you open and close a position on the same day. Now, I try, my objective is to trade anywhere from 1 to 4 hours. Some days I'll only trade less than 5 minutes, and then I'm done for the day. But no more than 4 hours. That's the plan. And I plan on trading every day during the market open, and that's what I intend on doing. It's not too much of an investment of time. If everything works out to plan, that leaves me, if let's say I average 10 hours a week on trading, that leaves me all those other available hours to do whatever I feel like doing. And I think that's the ultimate freedom, where you have the ability to truly do what you want to do with the time you have in this earth. And yeah, that's why I don't feel it's too much of a risk now. With prop firms these days, it's extremely competitive if you're like a prop firm owner trying to get customers. And so the deals that prop firms are giving to traders are just unheard of these days. And I really want to take advantage of it, because I didn't have that type of opportunity when I began trading. And I want to utilize this opportunity and time that I currently do have to give it a shot to see if I can make this a sustainable living. And I'm really amped up for it. Obviously, there's a lot of unknowns of where I'll be at the end of this year, but I've already decided in my mind to pursue this dream, so I could, live out my dream. Some people don't even have the option to pursue their dreams for whatever particular reason, whether they're in a marriage or have a child that they have to take care of, and they have to become aware, or they have to have some form of income to feed that child, as an example, or many other examples where they're stuck in a job or doing something where they don't want to do. I don't ever want to be in that position. I want to be as free as possible. Now, I know money doesn't buy happiness. It definitely doesn't. Money can't buy experiences. I mean, it could buy experiences, but money can't definitely buy time. However, what money can do is buy you enough time to live the way you want to, as well as experience the things that you want to, because you need money to experience things. That's something that is a fact. If you want to travel the world, like I'm in New York, I need to buy an airplane ticket. I need to rent out hotel rooms. I don't want money to ever be an issue stopping me from what I truly want to do. And I feel the combination of time that I've put in this trading game, it's giving me the confidence to kind of take on this risk. I almost feel as if not trading is going to be a risky endeavor going forward. Now, last year, at the end of last year, I graduated with a master's degree in data science. And when I got let go of my job that same year last year, around September, my intentions were to go into the tech field. But as many of you are aware, right now, we're experiencing an extremely tough, competitive job market. And I'm still going to search for jobs, but my main objective is to trade well. Once I trade well, everything will fall into place. I don't really expect to ever get a job if I do this well, if this does turn out to be successful. I'm also hedging my bets that this may not work out the way I plan to work out. So, I'm hedging my bets in terms of still looking for a job, in terms of still finding alternative ways to income. In this economy, you want to not rely on one income at this point. It's just too risky relying on one income. And so I'm going to expand my horizons in terms of how to create this extra income. And I truly believe trading is a way. Now, if you're a brand new trader, I want to recommend this. There's a steep learning curve when you try to become a trader. There's a reason why over 95% of people fail in trading. It's because it's not an easy game. It's not an easy game. It's akin to owning a business. Over 90% of business owners end up failing, I think, within the first 3 years or something to that effect. I'm not sure what the updated numbers are, but it's very similar to how trading is. There's a high likelihood that you could attempt to trade all your life and never become profitable. That's a high likelihood too. But I feel that with everything that I've been through in life and the psychological fortitude that I developed over the years, that there's a strong likelihood that I could succeed in this. However, I'm also open to the fact that I may not even be successful. So I have to be wary of that fact and be kind of realistic as well. So those are what's really on my mind, why I decided to kind of put my full force into trading. Also, my energy levels aren't the same as it was several years ago, I don't have that much, I guess, mental energy. But yeah, that's what's currently on my mind right now. I'm going to think of more topics to discuss during these walks. For now, it's pretty much all about trading. Trading is top of mind for me right now. What's also great about trading is markets are closed on the weekend, so I don't have to even think about anything, but just doing whatever I want in the weekends. I'm just kind of like envisioning a life where I just travel around the world whenever I please, trade whenever I want to, type of thing. Because 2 hours, based on the strategy that I'm currently implementing, as you see on my current channel, you'll notice that it's not too long. That's going to be literally my only trading that I do, just generally speaking. It's most likely going to be less than 2 hours. And that's pretty sweet if you ask me. That's a pretty small commitment of time to kind of live out your life, type of thing. In order to kind of pursue this, I am, drastically cutting on my expenses. Obviously I have to pay rent, but the daily expenses, like food, for instance, there's like a BJ's right by where I live. And for those of you that don't know what BJ's is, it's like a Costco or like a whole house, wholesale warehouse type of thing. And they sell a 3-pound chicken for approximately $5. And you could kind of cut, at least the way I eat it is I cut it into 4 separate meals. And what I'm currently also doing is something called intermittent fasting, where I only eat, right now I eat within the 8-hour window, but I used to eat within the 2 to 4 hour window. So, but I plan on staying on this 8-hour window because I'm having a tough time putting the protein, my protein requirements within that window. So I kind of expanded the window to like around 8 hours. So after this walk, I intend on breaking my fast. And so, yeah, so food is one way I'm lowering the expenses. Not going out as much. I don't go out as much anyway, so that's one way of limiting my expenses. And yeah, that's just basically going for these walks, because these walks, it's there's no cost to walk. It's free, absolutely free. Just do whatever you want. There's yeah, I mean, that's all you really need. You don't need much food as long as you're healthy enough. And these walks are going to be, they're free. And you benefit from getting a nice mental cleanse. I get mentally clear. And whatever was on my mind when I wasn't walking is definitely good. Not having anything on my mind, because if I sit down alone in my thoughts, you just basically get trapped in those thoughts. And yeah, I find walking to be extremely therapeutic. It's good for you. You get your blood racing. And yeah, I plan on walking approximately 5 miles a day, approximately to, over 10,000 steps a day. Yeah, it's just a small commitment of time. Usually it takes around less than an hour to complete that. And I suggest everyone walk on a daily basis, not only for your physical health, but for your mental health. Yeah, so I've been reading a new book. Now, for those of you that don't know, I read on a daily basis whenever I use the restroom. And the current book I'm reading is a book by Jared Tendler. Yeah, basically, I forgot the exact title of the book, but essentially what the book is about is the psychology of trading, things that you could do to essentially, um, to, helping you become aware of some of the psychological thoughts you have while trading. And so that's a new book I started. Before that book, I read a book entitled Make It Stick. It's essentially a book about learning how to learn better, how to maintain information, because I'm going to find it useful when I study for these technical interview questions, which I'm still doing, but I'm just not devoting as much time as I would like right now, because I'm using this week to cleanse myself of everything that's been going on this week. And slowly but surely, with the extra time I have, I intend on putting more effort into studying. I still am updating my projects too. Now, ideally, I want to do trading for a living, and as I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, but I also know that there's a possibility it may not work. So I kind of don't want to waste the master's degree that I got for data science. Now, I might as well still give it a shot, even though I know what the job is going to entail, So, yeah, we'll see about that. But, all right, I'm making a round at this corner here. But yeah, I've been looking at a lot of YouTube videos too, like just basically independent creators that just recently started their account. And there's a lot of good content out there that are new YouTubers. And that's motivating me to do YouTube as well. I'm trying to expand the type of YouTube content that I do. Obviously, I still have the one for trading. The initial intent of the trading channel was to record my trades. Now, initially, before I started recording those trades, I actually used to make those trades private. And then somewhere down the line, I decided to make it public, but I wasn't doing any commentary. But when one of my old school childhood friends came over and he wanted to do a podcast, that kind of motivated me to put some commentary on these trading videos, which kind of propelled me also to do this podcast as well. Because you'll be surprised, talking nonstop is definitely a skill that you have to get used to. You can't just out of nowhere, unless you were a talkative person just in general. I was never really much of a talkative person. I'm more of a listener, where I like to listen to content. I never actually took the initiative of just speaking out my mind. And so I want to, use this almost as a practice to have the ability to speak nonstop and talk about relevant topics that, interest me. And I also find myself repeating myself a lot because I have a tendency to be extremely critical of myself. And I listen to all my recordings and to see if there's anything I could improve, because there's always room for improvement for everybody. Some people prefer not to review themselves, but I'm not one of those people. I have to review and see ways I could improve in my communicating to the public in this case. I'm actually also considering doing Toastmasters. Now, what Toastmasters is, it's pretty much just like a little club where you get to practice your public speaking. And that's something that I'm strongly considering doing. It's a skill that it doesn't hurt to have. They say over 90% of people are afraid of speaking in public. So it's a good skill to develop Because communication is key. Communication is key. In terms of the jobs that I had in the past, almost all my jobs that I had in the past required me to speak to a person one-on-one. I used to be a stockbroker, and I want to use a combination of all the experiences that I gathered to explain my trading now that I have the time to do it. So you'll notice if you look at my trading videos, I explain my thought process, why I'm entering the trade, why I'm not entering the trade. And that's just a culmination of all the things I've been through as a trader. I've been through phases where I was over trading. I've been through phases where I was under trading. And if you're not familiar with those terms, over trading just means you trade a lot, more than the average, let's say. And under trading is just the opposite, where you don't trade enough. And I feel like I found my balance. I find patience isn't really the issue in my case anymore. It's more of pulling the trigger as soon as I get that feeling that the trade is going to go in my direction. That's something that I personally want to hone. But it's better safe than sorry. So I went from an aggressive overtrader to almost like almost under trading. But I'd rather be on the under trading side because I studied my trades of the past, and most of my trades were essentially more profitable the less trades I took. The more trades I took, I tended to lose. And I also noticed that I trade better first thing in the morning than later on in the evening. And so that's how I built my strategy. I knew my own psychology. I knew that I trade better with less trades, and I also knew I trade better in the mornings. Instead of anything longer than 2-4 hours is just basically I tend to lose focus. And I feel like this is sustainable for the next, I'd say, a good 30-40 years if I intend to do it that long. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this journey of trading. And I hope for those that are listening, I hope you're here for the ride. And if not, that's fine too. I'm going to always listen to my thoughts here. Like after this walk, I'm going to render this file, put it into a format where I could upload it to YouTube. And then I'm going to obviously listen to myself to see what I can improve upon. In terms of the trading sessions, I think starting from yesterday, I added timestamps. So instead of you having to view the whole session, you could just click on the timestamps of it tells you like whether it's the first trade, the second trade, that sort of stuff. So look out for those timestamps. I'm also thinking about editing the videos to, I'd say, under 30 minutes or so. If it's anything greater than that, because everyone's attention spans are pretty low these days. And there's like a gap in talking. What I'm attempting to do is just basically talk nonstop during the time I'm trading. And right now, I don't have too much to talk about, but I'm sure as I practice speaking on the camera, I'll be able to, provide you with information that you might find beneficial. Now I'm almost rounding the corner here. I got like a minute left here before the podcast is over. I'm definitely going to limit it to just 30 minutes. Anything longer than that, I think it's a little bit too much. Because as I mentioned, I am going to review these recordings, and reviewing an hour worth of content is definitely not in the cards right now. 30 minutes is perfect. perfect bite-size audio listening experience. I gotta hand it to Joe Rogan, being able to create like 2-3 hour podcasts. I used to listen to pretty much all the podcasts from beginning to end. I learned so much from listening to those podcasts. But for these solo podcasts, I think it's better just limiting it to 30 minutes because there's only so much you could talk about within that time frame. But yeah, what I also found, I know, and now probably it's going to be, I'll talk about, well, I got my alarm ringing here, so I'll stop it right there. Tomorrow's going to be another podcast for sure, because the weather's going to be a lot more better. Right now, it stopped raining, and tomorrow it's expected to be sunny, and so look out for that podcast. Other than that, let me see here. Let's open up my recording here. Okay, other than that, thank you so much for listening, and see you in the next episode.